Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome. My name is Chris Wilkinson. I'm thrilled to be the moderator for today's session. So whether you're joining us from the boardroom, from that home office, or the back of the car, or somewhere in between, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. We appreciate you spending the next 45 minutes with us. Today, we're going to dive into a topic that's really more relevant than it's ever been before, and that's how do we, reconcile the growing need for data collaboration and the growing need for security. How do we secure external collaboration without compromising productivity? So those will be the two primary focuses of the conversation today. Do we want to hit the next slide, please? I'll introduce the team. And of course, that handsome gentleman on the right is me. Niraj Tanani is our CEO and product owner of the Govern 365 product. Niraj is a founder of NetWoven. NetWoven is a 100% Microsoft ecosystem-driven consulting firm. And from that relationship, we have built several products, one of which is Govern 365, which you'll be getting a demonstration of today. So, we're going to explore how within that existing Microsoft 365 environment, how do we transform that into a fully secure and trackable virtual data room? We're going to do this without any third-party tools. We're going to do this without any extra licenses, and we're going to do this without any complex retraining. It sounds good in principle, so we look forward to going through that today. We're going to look at some real-world use cases. From M&A to legal proceedings to board meetings. We're going to have a live demo of Govern 365's virtual data room in action. Niraj will be driving that. And we'll get some practical insights from Niraj from some of our existing clients, some of the relationships that we have now, and use cases where clients have seen tremendous value from using this platform. So whether you're a CIO, CFO, CEO, or someone who's just interested from the security side of the house, this session is definitely for you. We can hit the next slide. Sorry about that. Really, I'd like you to focus on the numbers on the right. Companies that collaborate are successful. It's just a simple fact. You're more successful the more you collaborate with your various ecosystem partners, whether they're suppliers, whether they're providers, whether they're sales partners, whether they're clients themselves, or other firms. Companies that collaborate more are more successful. But with that comes challenges, right? How do I secure my collaboration? How do I enable as much collaboration as possible? Where do I draw that line of being able to collaborate yet not crossing over a risk threshold? How do I adjust my risk tolerance? So we're going to help you adjust your risk tolerance to a very high level today. Let's keep going, Niraj. Some common use cases that we're going to talk about, whether you're in M&A and need to share a lot of confidential information. This is an especially useful use case as far as speed of process. Generally, this is done manually or through much more expensive VDR solutions. Legal proceeding, financial planning that might be shared amongst partners. You can read the supplier collaboration. We'll go through a few of these in much greater detail. The need to share intellectual property is growing tremendously. We're seeing that as a strong use case over the last couple of years. And also you look at things as joint deal management, co-selling with partners. There's the need to share a lot of information, whether it's just product IP or pricing or whatever that might be. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to the expert. This is Niraj. Niraj has a tremendous passion for security, is CEO of NetWoven, and also one of the founding creators of the Govern 365 product. So Niraj, over to you.
Thanks, Chris, and welcome everyone. And I'll just follow up with what Chris mentioned, that security and collaboration are paramount in today's world. And we are in a very good spot here with the Govern 365, and I'll share some of the details with you. But really, I wanted to touch on one item, which is that lots of customers have asked us about a virtual data room, which I'll touch upon in just a minute, in Microsoft 365. So before I set the context for virtual data room, I just wanted to kind of share with the audience here just how big Microsoft 365 is in for external collaboration. So there are over 400,000 plus companies that use SharePoint. 80% plus Fortune 500 companies use SharePoint. I won't go into all the bullets here, but I'll just touch on the free. There are 200 million plus active SharePoint users, right? And there are 500 trillion plus files, that are handled by SharePoint on a monthly basis. I mean, these are staggering high numbers. The adoption of SharePoint is enormous. So the question keeps coming up for us is that, we are using SharePoint, we're using Microsoft 365. How can we maximize it for all our business functions? And that's really was the foundation of Govern 365. So Microsoft 365, the focus is your partner in external collaboration. You already saw with the data that many companies are using it for external collaboration. But the question is, how secure is your external collaboration? That's really what we want to focus on. So Microsoft Microsoft has all the features are available. It lacks the standard virtual data room capability in terms of bringing all the features together. And that's really what we focus on. So in terms of our focus, the Govern 365 really is focused around bringing all of these features of Microsoft 365 into a cohesive solution. Now, before I go dive deeper, I'll just spend a minute on what is a virtual data room. So virtual data rooms have been around for many years. It's nothing but a secure online repository to store, manage, and share sensitive documents. That's really what it is. And it is primarily used by M&A, fundraising kinds of use cases. And customers now are constantly asking us that how can we use the same capability for other areas, outside of M&A and fundraising. Some of the key features of a virtual data room typically are granular access control, providing better audit trail, encryption watermarking, providing the ability to do Q&A and collaboration tools. So there are many of these three things out there. If you search the internet on virtual data rooms, you're going to see 30, 40 products. But if you search for virtual data rooms for Microsoft 365, there's only us out there who really offers this solution. So we'd like to kind of take advantage of that and provide you with all the capabilities of the data room in Microsoft 365. So why a virtual data room in SharePoint? Traditional virtual data rooms are focused on primarily a few use cases, as I mentioned. Traditional data room pricing is restrictive and old. They charge by users and storage. Well, who in the world today charges by users and storage? You have all the storage with Microsoft 365, and Microsoft 365 provides external collaboration for unlimited users. So why not take advantage of that? Traditional VDRs store content in their own repositories. Customers all are telling us that they need more control of the content. So we actually allow you to store that in your repository. Traditional VDRs do not have collaboration capabilities and modern tools. Traditional VDRs do not have digital rights management. If somebody downloaded your data, forwarded it to somebody else, that person will be able to actually open the document. And then companies are using Microsoft 365 and they want to use it more and more. So those are some of the drivers behind the creation of Govern 365. So with that, I'd like to introduce Govern 365. It's a modern security technology that turns SharePoint sites into virtual data rooms. That's really what it does. Singular function in life. Provides additional features and functions in these data rooms. Avoids paying fees by user or by storage. Minimal training required as people know how to use SharePoint. Integrates security using Microsoft Purview, which is one of the Microsoft fastest growing security product, and protects data in your own SharePoint environment. We do not copy any data. These have been the drivers of a modern Govern 365, a modern virtual data room solution in the form of Govern 365. So just doing a quick comparison of traditional virtual data rooms. Some customers ask us that why not, do it in SharePoint native and versus Govern 365. There's a number of reasons, things that Govern 365 offers that are not there in SharePoint native or traditional VDRs. So for example, policy automation, that's very much in Govern 365. DRM and watermarking, very much in Govern 365 in a manner that is collaborative. SharePoint native also provides it, but not fully. Even traditional VDRs use outside third-party digital rights management. How you manage control, how you do auditing. There are many of these features that are available in Govern 365. So just from a conceptually, if you use Govern 365 in your Microsoft environment and you used it for all use cases, your environment would look like the following on the right side. You will have a board meeting VDR, you will have an M&A VDR, you will have a fundraise VDR, you will have many VDRs in the form of in your SharePoint. And your VDRs have certain functionality like auditing, digital rights management, users permissions, AI Copilot, Q&A. And then you have a Govern 365 portal, which is the admin portal that allows you to manage all of these VDRs. So that's sort of conceptually how you can think about, the virtual data room. Okay, Govern 365 has three modules: self-provisioning, secure collaboration, and compliance. And I will just get to the demo in just 1 minute here. So, but these are the main three features. We have tried to keep it very simple. Simplicity was one of the foundational elements of the product. So now let's go to and see how Govern 365 operates. So with that, I will move to Govern 365. I'll open up my browser, and I already have Govern 365 up and running. But what you will do here is that you would go to app.govern365.com. So I'll just use this app.govern365.com, and you will get to the directory page. And Govern 365 is also native in Teams. So if you are in Teams and you want to use it there, you can use it as well. But here I'm using the browser. Whether you are on Microsoft Edge or whether you are on Chrome, Govern 365 works in all of those browsers, all the browsers. Now, what this tells me is that I've got 7 workspaces. I've got no Teams, I've got 7 SharePoint sites, I've got no groups, no Viva, and I'm the owner of all 7. Out of that, 5 of them are external and 6 are what we call virtual data rooms. And the reason to separate that out is just to highlight that virtual data rooms are unique. Now, within this this customer who's using this is using virtual data rooms for many use cases. They want to manage their governance project. They want to manage their M&A project. They want to manage their board meeting, engineering, supplier, external audit. So this customer is fully onboarded into virtual data room and is managing all of these, if you will, data rooms here and using it, right? Now, you also have the ability to filter. So you can filter it based on all the filter criteria. I'm not going to go into the detail for that, but you can do that. Now, let's say that you want to create a data room. So you click on the new button, okay? And this allows people to create a data room. Now, who can create a data room can be controlled. If you only want a few users in your company to do that, you can. Or if you want everybody to do it, you can as well. Here, you can create a standard workspace or a secure data room. So I'm going to focus on secure data room. I click on secure data room. Now, customers have a choice. During onboarding, we can customize the screen that comes up, right? So this particular customer wants to use Govern 365 for internal secure data room, external secure data room, an M&A buy-side VDR, M&A sell-side VDR, or a board meeting or a capital fundraise. So this customer has provided templates, where the user can select one of them, and when these templates are utilized, a site gets created, a VDR gets created with a standard structure, right? So I'm going to just select here. Let's say I want to do M&A buy-side VDR. I'm going to select this here. The next screen is an informational screen that just basically gives some information to the user about the fact that it's going to be a secure data room. Then I click on next here. And now, all I have to do as a user, as a VDR creator, is to fill out this form. So I'll just say here, a test VDR1. And I'll just put in this name here. I will put in, a description. This is where I define who the owners are. So Debashish is an owner here. I'll just add one more person here as a secondary owner. So these are the people who will be added as owners to the site. And then I will click on the submit button. I won't do it because it takes a few minutes to create it. But once I press the submit button, an email gets sent out to everyone who is requested and who are being participated. And in a few minutes, you will get a notification that your data room has been created and for you to start with. Okay.
Hey, Niraj?
Yes.
Hey, Niraj? Hey, it's Chris. Hey, sorry to interrupt, but we just wanted to check in with the Q&A room and see if everybody's following along so far. We're hopping into some concepts pretty quickly here, and I just wanted to make sure we weren't losing anybody as we get into the demonstration. So if you're following, if you're getting it, please just let us know in the Q&A room. If not, let us know, and we can go on from there.
Sounds good. Yeah, please feel free to interrupt or put your question in the Q&A section, and Chris will pick that up and then interrupt me to respond to that.
Thanks.
So here now I look at this M&A tile and notice that there are a couple of icons here that I want to emphasize on. So this says it's a private data room. This says its external sharing is enabled for this data room. This says that it's protected also. It's not only private, but it's also protected. This says that, this provides some analytics. So I click on this analytics and it provides me some insights into the data room as to who is using it. Imagine doing that today in your SharePoint. You have to ask your administrator, the administrator has to run certain reports, and that's how you get the data. What we have done is integrated Power BI right here to provide you with this analytics. So what this is saying is that I've got 2 members in this data room, 29 files, 130 have been accessed times it has been accessed, and 132 times it's been previewed. So there's some basic information. And Debashish, who's one of the guys here, has 239 activities, which we'll see in just a minute. And then we have Viraj, who has accessed it about 80 times. So there's a quick view of what is really happening in the data room. And this functionality is available only to the VDR owners. So if I'm a user, I won't be able to see this. Okay, if you notice some of these tiles, that icon does not exist because I'm not the owner of those data rooms. Okay, there are a few other icons here. I'll click on one of them that's important and pertinent here. How do you manage permissions? So in data rooms, we've heard this from customers that managing permissions is extremely hard and cumbersome and confusing. So we have simplified it. In the data room, we only provide 3 groups. There is the owner, there is the member, and the visitor. Visitors can only read, owners can contribute, and then, members can contribute, and owners have full control. And there is an interface. This is a quick way to add a user, but I will also share with you the interface to, at a more detailed level. So if I wanted to add somebody here, let's say I wanted to add Sujoy here. If he's in the, in the tenant, I wanted to add Sujoy here. I can select him. I can just click on and add user, and I can add owner as a member or a visitor. If that person does not exist in my tenant, like how you saw in the dropdown, I can invite that person. Okay, so by pressing that invite button, and I'll share that in just a minute on how that process works. So this is how the user management works. Pretty simple, straightforward in terms of how the management of the content works. And I'll just share one more slide here. Actually, yeah. So just to summarize, what you saw was these data rooms that have been created. You saw some. Now I'm going to enter into a VDR. Okay, so that's what you're going to see now. So now I will go in here and I will go into merger and acquisition data room. Okay, so now what you see is a SharePoint site. Okay, created using a template that that was provided to us. Now we provide certain default templates. The default, let's go through this template. There is a menu here: home, documents, users and groups, reports, AI Copilot, and preferences. So this is what's available by default. And as you notice, the AI Copilot is grayed out because we are still working on that functionality, but that's where it will be available. You have certain quick information for education purposes, and then you have some widgets here. One of the widgets says what the recent documents were uploaded here, and there's some other widgets here that talk about other things in here. And then there is a default folder structure. Because this is an M&A data room, we have created a default set of folder structures for the M&A data room. And that's what you're seeing here. You are welcome to change it. You can modify it. At this time, you are in SharePoint, and all functions of SharePoint are available to you. So if you want to create a new folder, you can just click on it, create a new folder. If you want to upload files, you click on it, upload files. If you want to do some more functions here, you can click on this here and do all this. So basically, the beauty of this is that a lot of these features already existed in SharePoint. We are making them available to you in a very organized manner in the form of a data room. Okay, so now let's go to one of these folders. I'm going to go into one of these folders, and now I'm going to go upload a file. So I'll go upload a file here. Okay, so let's pick up this data sheet here. I'm going to upload it. It's a PDF file. I'm going to upload it. So far what is happening is all SharePoint. Okay, but in just a few seconds you're going to see a change. Okay, notice this protection pending. This is where the Govern 365 software comes in, and what it is doing is it's actually protecting this file, with the relevant users and groups that are out there, so that when this document is downloaded or shared, only the people who are part of this data room can actually access that file. So right now it's Viraj, it's Chris, it's Sujoy, and it's Debashish. It's four of us have access. If I try to send it to another person called John or Raj, they will not be able to open that file. They will have to request to be added to this data room before they can open the file. And that's extremely important because it prevents data leak. Okay, so notice that this file now has been labeled with the M&A data room. That's a label that we created, and that has been provided, there. So that's how the uploading and the protection works, and you can continue to work with these files as if you are working with SharePoint. Okay, next I'll show how the users and groups are managed. So I click on users and groups here. Okay, so SharePoint has this feature of managing users and groups. We have put it all together. We have simplified it so that it is a single unified interface. Because remember, VDR is an end user tool. It is not an IT tool. The people who use VDRs are business users. So therefore, you want them to give functionality in a way that's easy for them to use. Okay, so that's really one of the premise behind the product. So now let's say that I want to add more visitors. I'll click on this visitor group, and a pop-up will come up that will ask me to add users. I can add users individually, or I can bulk upload. So if I need to add users individually, I can just click here. I can just I can just type the person here, Shuja, and I can just invite that person. Okay, and a message will be sent out, and I'll just touch on Govern 365 in a minute. A message will be sent out to Shujoy, or if I want to put somebody else who's not in here, Chris Green. Let's say Chris Green. Chris Green is already there, so I can basically add a custom message, and the Chris will then receive an email with the instructions to sign in. It's as simple as that. Okay. Now, if I want to bulk import because I've got many people, I will click here. I have a template that you can download, and then you can fill out your users, and then you can import. You can choose the file and import, and all the users will be uploaded here. Okay, so that's how the management of the users works. Whether you are a visitor or whether you are a member, okay, it works the same way. So that's how the users get managed. The next feature that is here is reporting. So you saw a summary report. Now I will share with you the actual detailed report. So we provide what's called an activity report. Okay, and here it's the data. Okay, here is the data. So let me just scroll in. Let's just scroll in here. So notice that you have this provides more details. So this gives me an activity from 5/31 to 7/10/2025. It tells me that there are 2 users who are logged into the system, and it allows me to see all the different activities that you want to track. So let's say I want to see what work Devashish has done. So first I will filter here. Okay, and then and if you want to zoom in here, I'm just going to zoom in a little more. Okay, and then I could say what has Devashish downloaded. So I click on download. Great news. Devashish has not downloaded anything from here, because in VDRs it's really important to know what activities have been done in the VDR. So then I say, well, has he deleted anything? So I click on deleted, and there's one file that comes up that Devashish has deleted. So that's good to know. And then I can show, has he modified anything? So I click on this, and it looks like that he has not modified anything. So it's been, created, but he's not really modified anything. So this is how you can use the if you will, the report to do more and find out more about activities. So I'll just take a pause here, Chris. If there's any queries or questions, I'm happy to take them. Otherwise, I will move to the next topic. Chris, you might be on mute. Okay, I'll just continue presenting. Okay, so looks like Chris may be on mute, or maybe his activity is not working. But I'll keep going. So now I'll go to a vault. Vault is an environment where you can go. A lot of times banks do not have access to other people's SharePoint environment. So we have provided a way where users can directly, external users who cannot go to somebody else's tenant, can actually go into Vault and use Vault. So here Vault, just what you do is you log into the Vault, and it's nothing but a virtual view of your SharePoint environment. And what you can do is you can just click on it. Let's say that I want to select Vault here. I can expand on it. Okay, and okay, and notice that the same files are available here, for the users, so that they can see it in Vault. But there's an extra feature. So if I click on like this file here, right? What it shows me, I'll click on it here. When I open this file up, when I open this file, oops, I have to sign in here. Just let me just sign in here. So when I sign in, now notice that I only see two vaults or VDRs. I don't see all the VDRs because this is what has been given to me, right? So I can go click on this one of these VDRs. I can go in there, okay? And once I go in there, I can see my folder structure that you just saw, and I can see the things that are in there. Notice that I've got the same files here, that are there. And then I can click on one of these files, and it opens that file up. It may take a minute or two, but notice that it's kind of opening that file, and it is putting a watermark on it. Okay, this is a large file, so notice that it's putting a watermark on it. This is a dynamic watermark unique feature where it puts in what my email ID is, what my current time is, date and time is, so that if somebody takes a screenshot or shares this file, this watermark is there on this confidential data at all times. So this is the watermarking feature of Govern 365. So that pretty much concludes a lot of the demo. Now I will go through just to kind of bring everybody up to just to sort of summarize what I have done so far. Let me just go
Hey, Niraj, this is Chris. Yeah, sorry about that. Hey, working from home, you never know when somebody's coming to the door. So my apologies for having to step out. We haven't talked a lot about pricing model and differentiator from pricing models, certainly when compared to traditional VDR products. Were you going to go over that, or could we go over that now?
Yeah, I will go over that in just about a few minutes, Chris.
Okay.
I've got that covered. Yeah. So
okay,
just to summarize, what you saw was self-provisioning, virtual data room, user audits, users and permissions management, reporting, watermarking. These are all the features that you saw, with the Govern 365 product. Okay. Here's an example of a company, Keysight Technologies. It's a Fortune 1000 company, 10,000 plus employees, utilizing Govern 365 for a number of their use cases. So just thought, it'd be a good item to share. So now you mentioned about pricing. So Govern 365 comes in 5 editions: Light, Data Room Plus, Standard, and Enterprise. And if you notice, secure collaboration and self-provisioning are available for all the editions. Compliance is limited for Light through Standard, and then it's available fully in Enterprise. And I have not fully reviewed the compliance feature. That'll be a topic for the next webinar. But for this webinar, the only compliance feature that you saw was the audit report. Okay, that's available in all the editions. And we charge by number of data rooms as opposed to users or storage. Okay, so our pricing is, if you are an entrepreneur, if you're a small company, startup, you want to use a data room, you could get one for the Light edition, and you get that for under $2,000. I really mean it, under $2,000. I think Chris or Argo, if you can post the govern365.com link on the chat or on the Q&A, people can go check out the pricing there. Okay, the next one is data room edition, which is 5 data rooms. That is for under $6,000 or close to $6,000. Then you got the data room plus for about 12,000, standard for about 24,000. Then you got enterprise that goes upward from 36,000. So we have data rooms for all types of enterprises, and we have customers utilizing all of these, and we have a very frictionless method to go from one edition to another. So let's say that you started with the data room, and soon you find out that you need more. You can simply upgrade to the data room plus edition. We will basically prorate your remainder of the contract, and then get you going. So we have a very frictionless method of upgrading. Also, for this webinar, we have we have an offer that we would like to offer a 13th month for the price of 12. And if you buy 3 years of a contract, we have additional incentives. So please, if you are looking for something and you think you can need us, reach out to us. This is a great time. The offer is only for August of this year. Okay, so now let's talk about some of the upcoming features. So there are 3 upcoming features that might be relevant. One is Govern 365 AI Copilot. There are some Vault upgrades that are happening, and then there is Q&A. So these are the main features that we heard from customers, and we are integrating feverishly, into the system. So let's look at Q&A first. So Q&A is a method where I'll go through this slide first, where as you're going through an M&A transaction, somebody may have a question. So that question is submitted, is assigned to an expert responds to it, a review and approval is done, and the response is available to users. That's how Q&A process works. And the way we have enacted it is by putting the Q&A item right here that you see. Okay, that is available. Let me see if this will work here. This Q&A feature. Okay, so now using this Q&A, this is the features. This is the area where you can manage the users. You can assign who wants to be an expert, who can be the reviewers. You can put your groups here, and then the users are going to see all their questions and responses right in here. Okay, so that's how Q&A works. Okay. Next slide is around Govern 365 Copilot. So we have actually integrated Copilot, or we are in the process of integrating Copilot. Actually, I should say it'll be available, in the end of Q3 or early Q4, where you'll be able to ask questions right inside your VDR. And you can ask questions about summarizing your document. You can ask questions about, you creating a document from a template. There's a number of things you can do. You can compare 2 documents and get the differences. You can get advice. All of those things will be available through Document Intelligence. And then we are adding certain of these features to automate your tasks and automate your activities. So for example, let's say if you wanted to find out that, hey, how many people have downloaded, a particular file, You don't have to go into Power BI report. You can just go into the conversational chat and you can ask those questions and you will get the response. So that's on the user side. And then there are some things that we are also working on the administrator side, so that we can make these features available to the administrators, so that they can also take advantage of AI features and have a secure environment for you all. So that's I think that covers. So that pretty much concludes our discussion today. I'd open it up for any Q&A. And as I mentioned that you can reach us at you can go to www.govern365.com. You can send us an email at sales@govern365.com, or you can call us at 877-638-9683. You can also get this product from the Microsoft App Source, okay, which is their marketplace. So there's a number of ways to get the product. So with that, Chris, I'd like to turn it over to you for any questions or follow-on discussions.
Thanks, Niraj. We really appreciate that deep dive into the product. Obviously, it's got some very unique functionality. If you're a Microsoft 365 client and familiar with that ecosystem, the move to Govern 365 is incredibly simple and easy for you, and it's a very natural move versus integrating other VDR type solutions. So I'd recommend you take a further look at it. I didn't have anything else other than that. I don't see any questions in our.
So Chris, there's a question.
I'm sorry, here we go. We do have one from Dan. Dan has one. Thank you, Dan. Can users freely share between different VDRs? Good question.
I'm sorry, what's the question again?
Can users freely share between different VDRs? They already have a VDR in place and they bring this in.
Yes, they can, because in Vault, they can see all their VDRs that they're part of, and you can use the simple drag and drop features to be able to share content between the two. Okay. However, having said that, they have to have the right permissions in the places to be able to share. Okay. The other part, the other part is, I think you just have to be careful about one thing, which is that when you put it in one VDR, there's a set of permissions applied to that document. So when you move that document to another VDR, that permission carries forward. So you have to be very, very careful about how you are sharing between two VDRs. Now, some of our customers have that requirement, where they have a lot of sharing going on. Our recommendation at that point of time is to create one VDR and have different folders, and it'll make your sharing a whole lot easier. Typically, I would, our recommendation and guidance for people is that for a transaction, use a VDR. And if you have multiple things within a particular transaction, use a VDR with the folder structures to be able to share freely.
And Niraj, what are our clients seeing as far as a general time to implement this solution or migrate from a current VDR?
Great question. So it takes for us about 45 minutes to implement the solution, and then another 24 to 48 hours just to make sure it's QA'd properly, because there's certain things in the background that happens, and we are dependent on Microsoft there, in terms of their schedule. So we just have to make sure. So, but in 24 hours, you can be up and running. Now, in terms of taking content from your other VDRs and putting into this VDR, the time could vary. If your other VDRs don't have the content protected, all you have to do is drag and drop. That's easy. That can happen very easily. But if your other VDRs have content protected, then you have to unprotect them, and then you have to migrate over to reprotect. So that's, there's that really depends on the depth and the scale of your VDR.
Okay, thank you. I think that's it for the questions from the crowd.
Great. Well, like I said, please reach out to us at www.govern365.com. Send a mail to sales@govern365.com. And like Chris mentioned earlier, that as NetWoven as a company, we are the owners of govern365.com. We build that. We've got other products, and we have a lot of consulting work, with customers going on in the AI space. So if you have any of those needs, you can reach out to us as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Niraj. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.